What's going on, guys? It's CryptoLark here. Today we're going to be talking about portfolios. I've had a lot of people asking me about this recently, and so we're going to be having a look at my portfolio at the end of this video, but also having a look at different kinds of portfolios and things that you can think about when you're trying to put your portfolio together. Now, you guys know I'm massive on, the tech and the global revolution and all this stuff that is behind all of these cryptocurrencies, but it doesn't hurt to talk about the money either. So let's have a look at all that fun stuff after a quick shout out to everyone who has been hitting that like button and subscribing down below to the channel. Guys, are you subscribed yet? Subscribe down below. And of course, if you do want to continue supporting the channel, you can support me as a patron over on Patreon or follow me along at steemit.com. Links for both of those are in the description down below. And of course, quick disclaimer, guys, this is not professional financial advice. This is just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies. Let's get into it. Now, everyone's motivation for getting involved in cryptocurrencies can be different, right? I'm really motivated by the revolution that this is, the blockchain's ability to replace government, to replace financial institutions, to change the world, to fight corruption, all this exciting stuff. And of course, you can also make a fantastic income off of it. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can invest in mining, you can invest in coins, you can invest in all kinds of different projects. You can get yourself a master node. Holy cow. You can do staking. Some of these coins have fantastic staking potential. PIVX and NAV are both 5%, Gloatcoin 6%. Neo, you get gas from it. There's a lot of amazing potentials actually to get residual income from investing in these different coins. And look, there's a lot of different coins, and I will do a video one of these days talking about which coins offer great returns, which coins offer, reasonably priced master nodes. There's not many of them, but, hey, if you have an extra 300 grand, you can go get yourself a Dash master node. Woo! Anyway, what's your motivation for getting into cryptocurrencies? Is this the lifestyle you want to lead? Drive your sweet sports car up to your private jet. Cool. Maybe you just want some freedom. Tired of working that 9-to-5 job you don't really like? I saw a great quote recently. It was, here we are all running around doing these jobs, sitting there in quiet desperation as we go to jobs that we hate, to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't like. Good quote. That's very pertinent in a lot of ways. And some people just want freedom. They're tired of all the BS. They don't want to go to those dumb jobs. They want to, feel they can go on holiday and take a few months off and travel the world and do something with their lives. It's not just, being a slave to a corporation or your business all your life. Now, of course, if you're starting your own business, that's a whole different question, but maybe you just want some freedom. Maybe, of course, you just want a real way to save money going forward in the future. Maybe you want to send your kids to school. Good luck doing that in the absolutely rubbish returns that you get in banks these days. It's a joke, an absolute joke, the savings accounts the banks offer you. CDs at banks? Get out of here. Get out of here. Crypto is the way forward. If you'd invested, $10,000 in Bitcoin 5 years ago, you better start having more kids because you're going to be able to send them all to school. If you, of course, had held on to your Bitcoin. Now look, we're going to be talking about a few different strategies today based really on risk profiles, and that's where I wanted to start with. Super low risk investing. Now, perhaps the lowest of the lowest of the low risk of all would potentially be Bitcoin, but I don't know if I can really sit here and say go 100% into Bitcoin. Now, if you're just getting started off and you're kind of like, what the heck is all this other stuff? Just hit up Bitcoin. Really, if you're just invested in Bitcoin, you're going to do okay. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. Anyone who says Bitcoin's going anywhere isn't really watching and understanding what's going on with this crypto revolution. But nevertheless, why not diversify a little bit? So, if you want a super low risk portfolio, stay in the top 10. Top 10 cryptocurrencies. You look back, take a 1-year snapshot. Most of these cryptocurrencies have been there in the top 10 for quite a long time. They're very solid, massive community support, great development teams behind them. Obviously, and these are just theoretical numbers here, guys. You got to make your own decisions based on what you think's interesting, what your risk profile is, and all these different things. These are just some examples for you to think about. So if we're staying in the absolute safest cryptocurrencies, let's go half on Bitcoin, something like 20% on Ethereum, get some NEM in there, great project course, get some Litecoin. Now, of course, one of the newcomers to the top 10 is NEO. The NEO offers great staking rewards in the form of gas. NEM also offers staking rewards in the form of harvesting, but it's much, much less than many other coins will offer you. But, you know, get that NEO in there. You get yourself a little bit of residual income coming in as well as gaining value on all the other things. And of course, Ethereum will be introducing a proof of stake model fairly soon as well, so you'll be able to get some returns on that too. And you just sit on them. You just sit on them. We're not day trading. You know, this is the super low risk profile, right? What's day trading bring? Huge risk, huge stress, long term in it. Last year at this time, Bitcoin was worth like $600. It's almost back to the 5,000 mark. It's about a 7.5 times gain. If you want to get those kind of gains, you got to just be patient and hold on. Are there people making money in day trading? Absolutely. They're about 10% of the traders. 90% of the traders are losing. Keep that in mind if you want to go off and, you know, try and make a quick buck trade. And some people do it really well. They got a lot of time in their hands. And it's not such a complicated process. You buy low, you sell high, but it's harder to do for most people than it sounds. So this is a super low risk profile. Now, if you want to introduce a slightly larger amount of risk into your portfolio, we're going to diversify as far down as the top 50. And we're even going to go and check out a nice ICO. You know, some great ICOs that come up, something like Power Ledger, for example. Great ICO when it came out. If you'd invested in that, top notch, top notch. That'll be a project that will go a really long way. And again, we're talking all long term here. We're not talking any day trading business here. This is all about long-term investing. Now, having a look down the way here. So we're going to put 50% in the top 10 and 50% from 11 to 50 on the top market. Now look, you can just buy the market as well. You can just go and say, okay, I got $1,000 and I'm going to put, you know, $50 into each of the top 20. Not a bad strategy. Market goes up, you win. But if you want to diversify a little more and get into, you know, some more interesting projects and potentially get some more interesting returns coming your way, there's some different projects you can look at, right? You know, again, Ethereum is going to have proof of stake coming up. NEO, you're going to have your staking rewards as well. NEM, you've got potential staking rewards if you have 10,000 or more. NEO, any amount of NEO you put into your wallet, you get staking rewards. PIVX is the same. You'll get 5% per annum. And of course, a lot of the other ones do offer proof of stake as well. You know, so go and investigate all those different proof of stake options. Again, I will be doing a video about that one of these days coming up. But this is a much, you know, you've got a little more risk in your profile. You know, you've gone a little farther down to some of the projects that, hey, some of these projects are really amazing. They've been around for a while, and they will be around for a while. But something like ARC, for example, it's pretty new to the show as far as, you know, being up in the top 50. Keep an eye on ARC. You know, it might do really, really well and perform amazingly, but, you know, you've got a little more risk in here. And I like ARC. I'm not saying anything bad against ARC. I'm just saying you got a little more risk now, a little more risk in your portfolio. Let's go down to something more medium risk. Now this is more what my personal portfolio is like. And we'll come have a look at that here in a few minutes. But that's a little more what mine's like. It's a little more medium risk, if you will. So actually I'm about 50% into Bitcoin. But again, these numbers are just, you know, something for you to think about. You've got to decide on your own numbers here. But we're staying, you know, a decent portion of our money is staying in the top 10. So those really, really safe investments, right? Again, we're going for something a little riskier, you know, going to put 40% of our money in the top 50. And if you want to go, you know, start going down from 51 to 100 on CoinMarketCap, you start seeing a lot more speculative projects, some of the projects which haven't been there as long, and you do need to do your homework a little bit more because you will see some things come up that pop up and, you know, number 70, and it's there for 2 days and then it disappears forever. So you really have to start doing your homework a bit more when you start going down farther down the list, because there are projects there that are not very good to invest in, and you have to be a little more careful now. So just as an example, again, we're getting Bitcoin, we're getting NEO. We're going to mix it up this time. We're going to throw some Monero in there. our top 50, we're going to get OMG, some LISC, some basic attention tokens, some Komodos, again, some PIVX. You got that great staking potential on PIVX. Now, going farther down the list, this is our 51 to 100. We're going to get some NAV. NAV, again, 5% staking. Great. Going to grab some Sonam, good undervalued project. And that's not to say you should run out and buy that now or whatever, but if you're looking at getting in a project that, you know, has some good potential but it's really undervalued, a project like Sonam or others in a similar space, good ones to get into, right? Offer some good potential long-run returns. Maybe grab yourself some Verge. Privacy coins are so popular right now. In fact, we've got 4 privacy coins in this portfolio here. Actually, 5 privacy coins in this portfolio. Super popular right now. And of course, why don't we throw in some Vertcoin there as well? Nice little project too, but just 5%. Just 5%. We'll see how Vertcoin goes. Now, if you're thinking, that just all seems too damn conservative for me, Lark. I want to make some more money. Well, look, you can always diversify farther and farther down the list. And by the way, one other thing here, in your sort of medium risk profile, you can look into investing maybe a couple more ICOs. Again, ICOs are super risky, guys, and you got to super do your due diligence. There's so much shilling and all this crap going on, as well, scamming and all the rest of it. It's crazy. So really, really do your research. But there are some great ICOs out there. Like if you had invested in Power Ledger and, for example, Red Pulse, well, those would be 2 good ICOs to invest into. But, you know, they're few and far between. You really got to watch out for them. But good ones do come up. So you can, again, that's the medium risk profile. They were trying to invest in the best ICOs we can find, if we do invest in ICOs at all. High risk, we're going to throw a few more ICOs in here. You know, maybe ones that are a bit more speculative. Obviously, we're still doing our due diligence. We're not trying to get scammed. But now we're going even farther down. Because when you start really going down the list here, you start to find some interesting things. You start to find things with market caps that are super, super low. So say, for example, you wanted to get into like Pink Coin, for example. You know, here we go, $6.2 million market cap. That's super low. If it does anything, it's got great potential to grow. Solar Coin, okay, I have no idea what that is. And look, I haven't reviewed most of the ones down the list here, you know, because they're a bit far off for me. Maybe there's some good potential down here. I'm not saying that there isn't, but that is the thing. We're going higher risk now, right? We're investing in projects that have been abandoned or are, you know, just new to the market and we don't really know what the heck they're going to do. And, you know, you can still try and stay a little bit higher towards the top, you know, and go for things like Mysterium, for example. I put in, for example, we got 10% of Decent and 10% of Nebula and 10% Mysterium and 10% Pinkcoin, for example. I haven't reviewed Mysterium or Pinkcoin, but I know Decent and Nebula are both decent projects. But, you know, you got a lot more risk in here, and your chances of losing that money is much higher than investing in your top 10 or even your top 50. So you got to keep that in mind. Of course, the reward is potentially a lot higher, right? Let's look as an example at Neblio. Now look, Neblio is a coin I talked about the other day. It's trying to do similar things that, for example, Stratus is trying to do. Stratus is a great project, and it's super undervalued in comparison. I mean, it's, you know, 1/15 of the value of Stratus. So if it even got half the value of Stratus, you'd see a 7 times gain. And so that would be pretty nice, right? Everybody likes 7 times gains. And that's just, of course, we're not talking, again, we're talking long term here on all these. And if you see a 7 times gain, that might happen by next year. How much money do you want to get? Got to keep it all in perspective here, guys. Remember, a bank could give you like a couple of % a year if you're lucky. You know, getting great returns in cryptos. You know, if you stay in the top 10 coins, your returns will definitely not be as big, but you will get some nice returns, especially in comparison to what you'll get in traditional investment platforms. So keep that in mind. You know, if you really feel you need to get, you know, 500 or 600%, though, you got to start looking at the bottom. Now, and of course, the final one I'd like to put in here is the screw this, let's get silly rich one. You know, this is super risky. I don't recommend this. I don't really recommend the high risk profile either. You know, a lot of these projects much farther down the way here are, yeah, really to be taken with a grain of salt, guys. You know, we see things that are not good to invest in, bottom of the barrel stuff that's worth, you know, $1 million market cap, just come onto the market, God knows who's behind it, etc., etc., etc. We're going to throw a whole bunch of money at ICOs, hope that we, you know, randomly get the next Omise Go, for example. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to have a look here at my profile momentarily and have a think about, you know, what are some of the risk profiles in it, and what are some things that we can actually look at including in that portfolio, perhaps moving forward. Now look, this is just some of the things that I've invested in. There's a few things I haven't even included here that I have sort of nominal amounts of, and I just honestly didn't think were worth, you know, wasting the time listing. But again, like I said, I've got a fairly medium risk profile here. Now, a lot of my stuff is really geared towards the top end. Obviously, this is my Bitcoin here, but going down, we got Neo, top 10 coin, IOTA, top 10 coin. NAV, I've got a pretty decent pile of NAV, and it's a lot more speculative. Obviously, it's a little bit farther down. I really like NAV. I think it's a great project. And again, you get 5% yearly staking rewards. Omise Go, top 20 coin, very, very good coin. NEM, top 10 coin. Again, you know, fairly low risk here. Now, I did have a much bigger slice of NEM, but you'll see here I've invested about half my NEM into the COMSA ICO, and I did throw a bit into the Bankera ICO as well. So, you know, I did have a much bigger slice of NEM, and I'll keep adding to my NEM. That NEM slice will get bigger again. You're a really big enthusiast on that, and think it's got a really good future ahead of it, and some great potential returns to come out of it as well. Unfortunately, harvesting is not more profitable. Maybe they'll do some updates on it in the future, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. You know, if you want to get some pretty decent staking returns, you want to look at stuff like, you know, PIVX or Navcoin, for example, offering some pretty gosh darn good returns. Now, going a bit farther down the list here, we've got Ethereum and Litecoin. Not a massive amount of Litecoin at the moment. My miner should arrive any day now, so hopefully we'll get a decent amount of Litecoin when that gets here and start mining it at home. Sonam is one I've been trying to pile up on a bit recently. Of course, still super undervalued. We saw a nice run up on it the other day to 21 cents, and I think, you know, we'll definitely see a lot of value and interest coming into Sonam as it does get listed on more exchanges, and they of course get farther along with their project. Lisk and Stratus holding about the same amount of those. Again, those are top 20 coins, very safe, sound investments in my mind. Cardano recently on the list here, but I really like Cardano. I think it's a great project, and I'd like to get some more of it moving forward. I think it'll definitely move up a lot. We might see some dips on it. It's very new to the market, so absolutely, you know, a bit of risk there in that sense that we might see, you know, some news come out or some dramatic dips as the hype goes down. For example, it might drop down to like number 40 or something, but I think long-term Cardano's got a really great prospect to move and get some great value. Again, as mentioned, Bankera, that's an ICO one. We'll see how that plays out. Pretty high risk, that one, actually, in my mind. Qtum, pretty low risk. Dash, pretty low risk. Golem, you know, it's a top 50 coin, so medium risk, we could say. PIVX, top 50 coin. Randomly, I got some BioCoin here. That's just, you know, like I said when I made the BioCoin video, something I want to spend when I go back to Russia, if I can, just for fun. Just for fun. So you see, generally across my portfolio, the main focus is on the Bitcoin, guys. Main focus is on the Bitcoin. Now look, this is not the end of my portfolio, and there are some things that I'd like to add on to and some things that, you know, I'd like to get a little more involved with. But I thought this would be useful for you to have a look at and think, wow, gosh, Lark, why are you so gosh darn invested into Bitcoin? Have a look here. So total market, about 151 billion at the moment. Altcoins are 71 billion. That means Bitcoin is $80 billion worth of the market capitalization of the total cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin is the big dog. The big dog is what Bitcoin is. And so that's why I'm heavily invested in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, of course, absolutely amazing coin. Huge long-term potential and a very safe investment. It's great to have that backbone of a nice safe investment like Bitcoin in your portfolio. So I don't worry too much if, you know, If I lose out on my Biocoin or my Bankera, I would like to obviously not lose out on them, but if I do, I'm not too worried because I've got a really solid base here in Bitcoin. So I'm trying to keep it about 50-50. Obviously, we're about like 45-55 at the moment, so maybe I have to stock up on a little bit more Bitcoin when we see a dip here. May not come for a little while, of course, while all that excitement is flowing into the market with people trying to stock up on Bitcoin in anticipation of the fork. However, things I would like to get some more of, as mentioned, I would like to get some more Cardano. I'd like to see a little dip so I can buy in at a cheaper price. Of course, I would like to get some more Stratus. Stratus is at a great buy right now. Of course, there's a lot of really good buys in the market. I would like to stock up on my PIVX, but I want to see it go down a bit in price before I do get some more. Nexus is a coin that I don't currently hold, but which I would like to hold. So I'll be keeping an eye out for some Nexus. Bloody Power Ledger. I missed out on the ICO. Just didn't have the money at the time to invest in it, but I'll have to grab some when it does come out. Hopefully I'll get it at a price not much higher than the ICO was, but I guess we'll see what happens. But I'd definitely like to add into that one. MetalPay, absolutely fantastic project. Super low price right now. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. MetalPay, I'd like to add that into my portfolio as well. And of course, stock up on some more Navcoin going forward. 73 cents is a pretty gosh darn low price for it. I was lucky. I got some yesterday at about 13,000 Satoshis, and it's up to about 15,298 Satoshis right now. Woo! I'm at 2,000 Satoshis. No, obviously I'm holding Nav quite long term. And that, of course, comes to one of you guys' final questions for today's Lark. When are you going to sell? Well, that's an interesting question. I thought, hey, let's have a look at Lisk, and I'm not going to give you, the play-by-play and the every single coin and da-da-da-da-da. That's tedious, and I don't think anyone actually wants to listen to that, and I don't really want to tell that story. But what I do think is useful, and what the whole purpose of this video is, don't copy me, don't do what I do. I'm just trying to give you guys some tools, right? I am not your guru. You got to remember that, guys. I'm just trying to give you guys ways to think about things so you can make your own decisions and have that own knowledge to make your own decisions. And that's what we're doing here. So look, Lisk, fantastic project. I'm quite long on it. Yeah, of course, again, there's money to be made if you want to swing the market and all that jazz. Not really into it personally. I know there's a lot of people who say, Lark, you're wrong. You should swing the markets, try and swing the markets all the time, and blah, blah, blah. I'm longing, guys. I'm longing because, it's just much lower stress, and, there's great returns to be had with much lower loss potential. So, look, I was really lucky. I got my Lisk down here, most of my Lisk anyway, down here around right around the 50,000 Satoshi mark, somewhere around here, right about there, I think. Yeah, it's about 250 US, so maybe about 60,000 Satoshis. That's written down over there, but just we're talking about it right now. So I got mine about 60,000 Satoshi mark. Most of it, I did buy some more when it was around $5, so around 125,000 Satoshis. And I haven't bought any more since. I'm holding on. I would probably buy some more though, now that it is back down to like 94,000 Satoshis. Pretty good buy-in price for Lisk at the moment. We might even see it go lower. If you see Lisk get down below like 80 or 75,000 Satoshis, pile on, guys, because it's definitely a great time to buy in. Now, when am I planning on selling? Now, look, this is just the 1 year. And remember, Lisk is just getting started. Lisk is just getting started, guys. Keep that in mind when I tell you about these prices. So the highest we've seen, all-time high price for this year, not forever. If we go back 2 years, for example, the prices were higher per Bitcoin, but 170,000 Satoshis was the high price of the year for Lisk. I wouldn't sell any Lisk personally before 300,000 Satoshi. At 300,000 Satoshi, I'll have a look at it and think, have a look at the market and try and understand what's going on. That's my first sell point. And I'd probably sell about 20-25% of my Lisk at that price. So that at that price, I'll get back my initial investment and get a little bit of a profit as well, and still be left with the majority of my Lisk. And that might seem really long for a lot of you guys, and if you don't have that patience to be in it for a long time, I understand. But I think Lisk is going to be one of those ones that's going to be easily 20 bucks. Easily 20 bucks in a year's time. You know, so if I'm looking at it from that perspective, and again, that's 20 bucks would be about actually 350,000 Satoshis based on today's prices, of course. You know, the price of Bitcoin, the price of Lisk may not keep pace with each other. Maybe Bitcoin will outpace Lisk, for example. But usually altcoins do have a slightly better performance average than Bitcoin. Now, that would be just a first sell point, right? A second sell point would be probably around the 500,000 mark. I might look at offloading about another quarter of it then. And at that point, I've taken all my investment back. I've got a nice profit out of it. I'm still sitting on half my Lisk, which I might just keep riding out for a long time. I don't have any, you know, sell point determined for that at this moment. You know, again, it'll, when the time comes to start looking at that, I'll think, well, do I need the money? If I need the money, well, maybe I'll get rid of that Lisk, get a nice, really nice return. If I don't need the money, maybe I'll just chill on it some more. It's not going to go anywhere. I think Lisk, again, you know, great project. Now, for some of the more speculative projects, you may not want to go so long on them, right? Lisk is, I think, a very, very strong project in this space, and that's why I'm going really, really long on Lisk. If you're invested into something like way farther down the list there, you know, some of those $7-8 million market cap kind of coins, you don't have to wait for it to go up, you know, 10x or 20x or something like that. You can get out after it's gone up 200 or 300%, 150%. There's nothing wrong with doing that, guys. You know, it's all about you. It's all about how much you think you want to get out of any particular coin or any particular project. So again, you got to make these decisions yourself. Those are just my calls and the calls that I make. You guys got to make your own calls. I'm just trying to give you ways to think about it here, right? Anyway, that is all from the CryptoLark for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this has been useful for you, giving you some interesting ways to think about how to, you know, put your portfolio together, ways to think about what is your, you know, aversion or lack thereof to risk. All things for you to think about, guys. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.